Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Monk's webinar, which discusses about the autobiography of Yogi. I'm here with Brahmacharis Sagar, and we are very happy to share this evening with you. Let's start with a chant. So it's simple words. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. 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 I want only thee, Lord, thee, Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I 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 want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I 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 want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. Want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee. I want only thee, Lord, thee, only thee.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
beloved friend God,
beloved friend
great
God,
masters of self-realization,
great masters of self-realization,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashai,
Lahiri Mahashai,
Swami Shri Yukteswar Ji,
Swami Shri Yukteswar Ji,
beloved Guru,
and beloved Guru,
Paramahansa Yogananda Ji,
Paramahansa Yogananda Ji,
saints of all religions,
saints of all
we
religions,
bow to you all.
we bow to you all.
Great ones,
Great ones,
through our efforts,
teach
us to cooperate with your grace,
teach us to cooperate with your grace,
and to help you,
to help
free us.
free us.
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
may thy love
may thy love
shine forever
on
the sanctuary of our devotion,
the sanctuary of our devotion,
and may we be able
to
awaken that love
awaken that love
in all hearts. Om.
Om.
Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Your wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Without thee, my bread does not want to flow. Without thee, my bread does not want to flow. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Your wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Thou didst say thou would come, but thou hast not come. Thou didst say thou would come, but thou hast not come. Restless is my soul day and night. Restless is my soul day and night. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Without thee, my bread does not want to flow. Without thee, my bread does not want to flow. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Restless is my soul day and night. Restless is my soul day and night. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Oh, wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Lord, wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Without thee, Without thee my bread does not want to flow. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Oh, wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Thou didst say thou wouldst come, but thou hast not come. Restless is my soul day and night. Restless is my soul day and night. Wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Oh, wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Oh, wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Lord, wink has not touched my eyes ever since I saw thee. Let's do one more chant since we have some time. Some of the conversations I have chosen for this evening are actually, there are 3 in number, and they correspond to 3 stories that Sri Yukteswarji told Paramahansa Yogananda the first time they met for a longer duration. So in that meeting, Sri Yukteswarji was feeding Yogananda ji mangoes and all those things, celebrating their getting together. And later Yogananda ji requested him, "Sir, please tell me a few stories from your childhood." And Sri Yukteswar ji said, "I'll tell you a few." He told three, and he said each has a moral. So the three conversations which I have chosen are the three morals. And as we go over each, I'll also narrate the story as it's there in the autobiography. So the first one for February 15, Sri Yukteswar ji says, "Look fear in the face and it will cease to trouble you." And of course, the story is very simple. When Sri Yukteswar ji was a boy, he was very naughty. Naughtiness, it seems, is a sign of saintliness, because very few low energy children, have become saints later in their lives. Though I guess there might be exceptions. But Swami Sri Yukteswar ji was, very energetic and always keeping his mother on her toes. And so finally she told him, "If you are so mischievous, then there is a ghost in that room which is closed and dark, and he'll come and take you." And she expected Sri Yukteswar ji would be scared and just sit there for some time. But of course, Sri Yukteswar ji's step one was to run in towards that door, open it, go inside, search thoroughly in the darkness, and then come back with great disappointment, saying, "Mom, where is the ghost? It must have fled away from me." And he said, after that, mother never told me another horror story or a scary tale. And then he gave this moral: look fear in the face and it will cease to trouble you. And it's a good maxim, and the underlying suggestion that Sri Yukteswar ji gives is not to be rash and just have all this bravado and go and try to look fear in the face, but to not be afraid. The attitude of being scared is something that constricts our true nature, and it prevents us from developing those qualities that are required for soul freedom. Now, looking fear in the face can be done in many ways. There are unwise ways and there are right ways. So these things have to be thought about also. The right way to look fear in the face is, I'll give you a few examples. How do you look fear in the face? Well, sometimes you can look fear in the face with the help of your friends. Go as a group. If there is something which is hard for you to do or endure, share it with your friends. Take their suggestions and try to do that task together. Another way to look fear in the face is through using wisdom. Sometimes I know a story in Yoganandaji's life. When he was in America, he went to Miami once. And when he went there, because America was still, there was segregation between the blacks and the whites. Hindus and Indians and brown-skinned people weren't so easily visible then as they are now. And so there was racial prejudice, especially the police chief of that city, Miami. He told Yogananda ji, "Get out or I'll throw you in prison." Yogananda said, "I'm not leaving." But he left eventually. When the situation got so bad that it looked like there could be riots, he left. So, of course, he could have said, my guru said, look fear in the face, and I should look fear in the face and do this. But he was cooperating with wisdom. Sometimes all this statement means is in your heart you are not frightened. But the dictate of wisdom might be that you don't engage in further fighting. So even these little things have to be learned through the help of the teachings of a true guru. Meditation gives great strength, and that is one way you can look fear in the face. In the chapter where Yogananda ji, I think in the chapter where Yogananda ji attains samadhi, he says, when one has just come out of deep meditation, he is in touch with the cosmic currents. And there is no greater sense of protection than being in that state. And so the more we can meditate, Yogananda used to tell Dr. Lewis, when you are in the Om vibration, nothing can touch you. And this is what Jesus Christ used to say, if you keep my saying, you shall have eternal life. A life that is free of fear. So the best way to face fear and to erase the possibility of any fear is to realize that we are immortal, that we are the children of light. As the Gita says, weapons cannot pierce us, gas cannot choke us, fire cannot burn us. And when we reach that state, there is nothing left to fear. But in the meanwhile, use your wisdom, use the wisdom of somebody who is wise, and learn how to not be afraid, but yet take the right measured decision. So with that, let me yield it back to Premdas.
Thank you, Sagar. So I have chosen this February 21st. This was the first, when I really purchased this app, this was the first quote which showed up. Be comfortable within your purse. Extravagance will buy you discomfort. Swami Shri Yukteswarji says this to Master. No, in the sense, sorry, yeah, this happens. Master explains how the things happen there, like in Yukteswarji's ashram, when all the people used to come for dinner, like sometimes even they used to just come, like uninvited sometimes, and always there was enough food for all the people when they went back home. Like Swami Shri Yukteswar managed it economically, and he did not try to spend anywhere too much bulk, but this was a quote which was used then. So let's look into the deeper aspect of the same quote. Be comfortable within your own purse. So here, more as I look at this quote, it means that contentment is really necessary on this path, or to be happy anywhere, even if you're on spiritual path or not. Contentment is truly necessary. So like in yoga, it says the person, for contentment, it just says the yogi, like who takes all the desires inward, the reverse of desires inward, is always peaceful and happy, and who lets his energy flow outside is drained of it. And regarding contentment, again, there are some few stories which Master or Swamiji, both of them say. So let me narrate one of them first. So in this first story, this person is named Benevento Cellini. So he was a great artist. He was doing a great job, and Pope had assigned him to do some work. So he was doing, but Pope was little not paying him rightly in time. So he was not too happy about it. So finally, there was this big, huge assignment, and Pope gave him some money for all the other assignments. So then, without looking back, he demanded from Pope, unless you pay me for the last assignment, I'm not going to work on this. And Pope became very angry, and he just put him in the dungeons. So he put him in the dungeons. The situation was so bad there, but still he did not change his mind. And then when he comes back, the Pope asks him, so what are you feeling like? He says that I'm feeling immense joy. He explains how he feels immense joy and how he's contented. So what he says is, the situation here is like, I get this stone bed is there, mattress is there, and there are rats running everywhere, and I hardly get like 1 hour of sunlight or 1 hour of light in the room. So all that 1 hour is the time when I spend to read Bible and to experience that joy. So what he tries to say here is that intensity. So he was contented with whatever he had. So that's the first story.
Well, all those quotes of Sri Yukteswarji's are like that. They are very terse, they are very short, but they are to the point. And Yogananda used to call him the incarnation of wisdom. The next story, which is Sri Yukteswarji told Master as a boy, when Sri Yukteswarji was a boy, and this is the conversation. This is the moral. Attachment is blinding. It lends an imaginary halo of attractiveness to the object of desire. And the story which Sri Yukteswarji tells, again, unfortunately, involves his mother, who's, sort of at her wit's end about how to do with such a naughty child. And so Sri Yukteswarji had seen a very ugly dog which was belonging to the neighbors, but somehow he took a fancy to that dog. And he kept the household in turmoil for weeks, saying, I want that dog. So finally the parents said, okay, why that dog? Take any dog, we'll take you to the dog store. And there are so much, and they showed him more expensive dogs, more beautiful dogs, bigger dogs, smaller dogs, fluffier dogs, skinnier dogs. But Sri Yukteswarji said, no, I want that dog. And of course it was the neighbor's dog, and so Sri Yukteswarji, basically all he did was keep the household in turmoil. And then Sri Yukteswarji here gives this moral that attachment is blinding. It lends an imaginary halo of attractiveness to the object of desire. No object in itself is attractive or unattractive, because you will find that based on a person's conditioning and his temperament, his samskars, he might find something attractive that you would just not like. What a saint finds unattractive and what he finds attractive versus what a person with a demonish, tendency finds. Some people love murders. Some people love murder stories. Some people like horror movies. Some people, they just like something that is uplifting. But the point here is whatever thing we are accustomed to, gradually we develop a habit of liking that. That is how an Indian starts liking curries and Americans start not liking curries but like, let's say, something blander. It's not that one is better than the other, but an Indian would not necessarily like the bland food, and he will say, where is my rice? And American, if he is in India, he will say, no more rice. I want something else. I remember when we were in here, many people come from many countries, and one of the monks came from Russia. And he used to keep the household in turmoil. No more rice, no more rice, no more rice. He was fed up of rice and dal. And one day when we came to lunch, he was sitting there very happily. And so we saw, what did he have? And these were boiled potatoes. And everybody who was coming was saying, boiled potatoes, best food on earth. In Russia, we eat only boiled potatoes. And every Indian was just shocked because no Indian likes to eat boiled. Where is the curry? And so, but the point is exactly the same. Attachment is blinding and it leads to an imaginary halo of attractiveness. And the point here is that if we are non-attached, we can see things as they are. And even in college, I have seen many people comment, oh, how come that person likes that girl? What kind of choice does he have? How come this girl likes that boy? I mean, how can it work? And it's just attachment. Mothers like their children, no matter whether somebody else thinks their child is ugly or stupid or smart, but they just love it because of that attachment. Now, last point I want to make here is, in the Bhagavad Gita, attachment is represented by Karna. Yoga, he is Duryodhana's best friend. And of course, desire represents Duryodhana himself. And here, if you read this quote, attachment is blinding. It lends an imaginary halo of attractiveness to the object of desire. So it is the power of attachment that blinds our true wisdom, our true intellect, and makes us indulge in our object of desire while forgetting what wisdom would have dictated. And that's exactly how Duryodhana, he forgets all his dharma when Karna is instigating him. Let's do some Vastraharan, let's fight, let's play the dice, let's burn them up, this, that, other. When Karna is by Duryodhana's side, he does not realize that an army that has Krishna can never lose. But that's the reason we have to practice non-attachment. And non-attachment is the arch enemy of attachment. And Arjuna represents that non-attachment, that fierce self-control, which cuts and finally kills that cord of attachment. Once we have that, once we learn to be non-attached to the outcomes, then we can keep some distance from our object of desire and be much more objective in our decisions.
Thank you, Sagar. And now I remember the second story of contentment. So here it is. So Yogananda, when he was in America, so there was this place called Radio City Music Hall, if I'm right. Yeah, he used to buy the ticket. He used to just go, and he used to think for that time, whenever he has bought the ticket, that this is my place, like I own this place. He used to feel joy, like see all the beautiful structures there, enjoy the scene. And then finally, when he was done with it, he used to just come out of the hall and just say, I don't want to take the burden of cleaning this place or maintaining this place or afraid of thieves. I am happy with whatever I had, and he walks away freely. So contentment, see, it's so much necessary for us to be happy. So now the other quote I'm going to speak about is on February 24th, tomorrow. This world is inconveniently arranged for a literal practice of ahimsa. Man may be compelled to exterminate harmful creatures. He is not under similar compulsion to feel anger or animosity. All forms of life have equal right to the air of Maya. I think this quote might come up when Master Paramahansa Yogananda ji was hitting mosquitoes to save himself. So the main thing here is, like Yukteswar ji says, the desire to kill is dangerous. Sometimes we'll incur minor sin by killing mosquitoes, beetles, but it's fine. Human body is much more, according to even Vedas, human body is much more this thing sacred, and you should not allow it to get destroyed or hurt or any of those things. So let me narrate few stories. So ahimsa, when we think of ahimsa, we remember mostly Mahatma Gandhi ji. So Paramahansa Yogananda ji, when he had visited India, these both incidents which I'll tell you happened during this time. No, he'll remember, sorry, one instant. So he visited the Bapu's ashram, and there he also gave Kriya initiation. But then this topic came up where Yogananda ji will ask Mahatma Gandhi ji, what will you do if a murderer comes into this place with a gun and he starts killing people? And Mahatma Gandhi ji says, I'll be the first. I'm going to go front and I'm going to allow him to kill me first before he can touch anyone else. Paramahansa Yogananda ji did not speak anything there. He let Mahatma Gandhi ji have the last word there. But when he walked after this incident, once he came out of the ashram, when he was speaking to one more person, he said that, I don't want to speak, but for sure, it was not really like if some person has come to kill other people, what would happen after he killed Mahatma Gandhi? He would have killed all other people. So it's better to kill that one person rather than allowing him to kill all the other 20 people. And even about the independence, like he was telling the English people were gentlemen. If Russians had invaded India, they would have shot Gandhiji even before he could do anything. In that way, English were gentlemen. So speaking, I've said 2 times English were gentlemen, now 3rd time. So let me say something which Yogananda ji said that, but they're not truly so good also. Like there are few incidents which happened when he had come back to India, and they did many things to keep India in its, as if it's not to rise. So one of the incidents was they wanted to trick Yogananda ji. This was the first time I read the story today. So yeah, when I read it, it brought a smile upon my face. So they wanted to trick Yogananda ji. So what they did was that planned this huge thing. Like after Yogananda ji's speech in one place, they had wanted one, Britisher woman to, or some person to go and hug Yogananda ji and give an congratulatory kiss on his cheek, and all the photographers wanted to click that shot. This was the whole idea of the show. But Yogananda ji, as you know, was a master and he knew what was happening. So now what happens? So he completes his speech. Now he's waiting and the same person walks and the camera people are all waiting there beside. So she walks close. Yogananda ji, just when she comes, he just holds her by the waist and lifts her to his head. And he looks at photographers and tells them, okay, come on, take the photographs now. All the photographers do not know what to do because they know that their idea is out. And by the way, just by lifting, there was no crime committed. So they could not even arrest him or do anything. So that's how it happened. So now I pass on to Sagar.
Okay, so we come to the last story that Sri Yukteswar ji narrated to Yogananda ji, and again from Sri Yukteswar ji's childhood. And he said when he was a boy, his mother always used to say, anybody who accepts a job under somebody else becomes a slave. And Sri Yukteswar ji said that thought became so strongly etched in his consciousness that even when he grew up, he never accepted a job. And of course, Sri Yukteswar ji, the way he would manage his finances were his ancestral properties. He took care of them, put them into trusts, he invested his funds, and then he managed to have enough income from that he could give free yoga training to all his students. But then he said, after narrating this story, mentioning that even that little sentence from his mother remained so strongly etched in his mind. He said this, that
Yeah, he did not take up many jobs in government offices.
yes, I just the apps for some reason disappeared somewhere, but there it is. Good and positive suggestions should instruct the sensitive ears of children. Their early ideas long remain sharply etched. And so it's important to give your children some sort of spiritual education. In India, we still do that a little bit, and I think also in the West. But Yogananda ji's general impression was that it was not enough, and that's why the first thing he did, first outward mission that he did in India in this incarnation, was to start a school where he said we'll teach the regular curriculum of history, geography, science, and all that, but we'll also teach how to live. He called it a how to live school. Moral instructions, yoga, meditation practice, and how to live rightly, how to be a good friend, how to be supportive, how to always be truthful, how to be morally upright. All those things, he said, are very essential, because man is not just a sum total of bookish knowledge. He has to know how to live in this world right. And so even your children, if any of the viewers have children, well, consider finding a way that your children can imbibe spiritual principles. Consider reading up on what should they imbibe, what should be shared with the children, and then trying to consciously, a child is like a plant, and the way you prune a plant, the way you give it support, it becomes a tree. Of course, once it becomes a tree and the bark is real hard and strong, then you can't change the shape of the tree very much. But when it's in the plant stage, by giving the right fertilizers, by giving the right treatment, you can make it a very beautiful, strong tree. Now, of course, what Yogananda ji and Sri Yukteswar ji were also implying, though maybe they didn't say it here, is that not only do you give good and positive suggestions to children, but you act accordingly as well. Now, children are very smart. Very seldom do they follow what their parents say, but more often they follow what the parents do. If the dad has a habit of drinking every night and tells the child, son, don't drink alcohol, most probably he'll end up drinking alcohol. If he has the habit of smoking, most probably the child will have the habit of smoking. Sometimes if he has the habit of, boasting, the child, I have seen this in my friends also, the child will also be of a boastful nature. And so it's not enough to just instruct, but that instruction has to be backed by right living ourselves. So it's not enough to put your children in spiritual environment. You yourself, if you are a parent, first have to go into a spiritual environment and become trained. You yourself have to read the right books. You yourself have to have the right environment in your house. What are your tastes? What kind of paintings do you keep in your house? What kind of music do you listen to in your house? All these things, because the child always knows these are the books in my parents' library. You see, they are very observant, just as Sri Yukteswar ji was. And so to really change your child, you have to become a good example. And apart from that, you have to sensitively teach them the right precepts. And then you see that the family becomes a beautiful garden where many blossoms grow, and others come and get inspiration from that beauty. That's what a family is supposed to be. So we have another 4 minutes. Why not finish this webinar with one more chant? This was a chant Swamiji wrote for children. Nothing on earth can hold me, rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me, rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me, rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Well, see you all in a couple of weeks. Joy to you.